Today's subjects are as follows. The people ADHD meds have saved, very important. The dangers of instant cures. The 4 ingredients for eliminating ADD most of the time. I put 75%, we could say it's 90, it's 80, it's what you're going to learn, it's experiential. It's a lot. And transforming a fast mind into a working mind. And the whole point there is a lot of times people are assumed to be having issues with ADD or ADHD. They're boys, they're a little hyperactive, they may be kinesthetic learners, and they may have one of these fast minds, a Ferrari mind. And we really need to take that mind and train it and empower it. It's a superpower. Kind of like anxiety had the opportunities to make superpowers. Depression have opportunities to make everything that is a challenge has an opportunity to make a superpower. That's our job as mentors. So a middle school teacher's take on ADHD meds. I guess you can tell who that is. If you can't, it's me, a few pounds heavier, disguised as a teacher. I had been doing a whole bunch of music theater pieces with young people, different cultures, bring them together, special needs, young adults, all sorts of different opportunities. And so this school hired me to be disguised as a teacher, to do the day-to-day teaching of music, which they take very seriously, but to do some real amazing concerts at the end of the year, the end of the school year, somewhere in between certain holidays. And I really enjoyed it. In the 7 years that I was there as a middle school teacher, and that was at the start of this millennium, I was shocked at how many students were on meds for ADHD. And it was just an ongoing thing. The office would come in and dispense certain meds at certain times. And remember, I'm seeing them once a week, maybe twice a week. And I'm seeing the meds. If I'm seeing the meds on that occasional, how many other times are well, I guess daily, right? And there was a lot of issues of autism, and you could see it growing year by year. And that, combined with all this ADHD, made me start wondering, what the heck's going on? Because clearly you can see it growing. Clearly you can see these problems. And it was something that I was going to work on, and I'm going to share it with you. It was clear to me that for many of those students, it was really about concentration. And that concentration grew considerably by doing some exercises in extended length. So being a typical drummer, as I started with this master, Jim Blackley, teaching me, and he had me do it in 5-minute segments and then add more and more segments. And it was bringing my concentration to deeper and deeper levels. So we started, of course, with the 5-minute intervals, which is what I had been taught as a drummer. And then we went to 7. And I'm not letting them see that I'm kind of looking at my watch, right? But it's like, oh, that was really great, guys. I think that was subtle. I hope so. Then we went to 10 minutes. Eventually, I got a wall in the back of the class. They couldn't see, so I could really time how well was I getting most of the class to focus. And you can do the same thing because, on your computer, you'll have a little timer, and work in ranges with all of your mentees because we want to extend their concentration abilities. And now there's stuff going out there that are 10-second videos, and forget like 3-minute videos or 5-minute videos. These are like 30 seconds. That's way too long, So what is that doing for concentration? Within 3 months of doing this 5, 7, 10, and then 12, and then 15, they were focused into 20-minute segments. These were kids who could barely focus for 5 when we started. So what did I learn from all that? Basically, what I learned was this. In most cases, it's not ADD, it's TDD, teacher deficit disorder. The problem is too many kids, too much overload for the teachers, and they are not looking at how each of these different people learn and how we can see what's going on in the mind, the way you're going to learn today. So I'm so glad you're doing this. In some cases, even though there's a lot of teacher deficit disorder, even though I'm saying 75% to 90% of them we can fix, there are people that meds have really saved. And I want to really make that clear. I want to focus on that whatever, 10%, 5%, 15%. It's not as many as are getting meds, but those are the ones that really need the meds. And those meds, the right meds from the right, a doctor specializing, usually psychiatrists, or sometimes they're ADHD specialists, a doctor specializing in meds as opposed to psychologists or in the States, I guess you call it primary care physicians. In Canada, we call it GP, general practitioner. They're all great, but we want the best. So let's talk about the people ADHD meds have saved coming up.